everybody in Knitter's World. This is Kathy, and I'm here at the Myers house with our friend Nancy Quaid, and she is going to talk to us about what's new at the Myers house. So I'm going to turn it right over to you.
Hi. I'm going to take off my mask to speak, but we always ask people to wear masks when they come in. Things have changed here a bit. As you may remember, this was our knitting room, and we've had to shut this off because we no longer can have our groups here. So when you come, you'll notice kind of a big change, but the other part is just almost the same, other than the fact that we are having a bit of trouble getting in yarn. And I know that you've probably run into this other places too, that the shipment is not as quick as it used to be. So we're thrilled when it finally comes in. We got Malabrigo and Rasta yesterday, Rios and Rasta. And our Bryson needles came in, so we're more stocked than we were. So I do hope that you're able to come up and see us. Do come by appointment only, call us. Our hours have totally changed. We're open from noon until 4 now. So call and make an appointment, and we'll write you down in our little book, and you can come in the front door. Many of you may not remember there is a front door here. The back door is where everybody used to come in at the parking lot. Now you walk around to the front and come in the front door and be introduced to the elegance of the house that way. So I have a few things here that I'd like to talk about. Number one thing is Kate Baranowski is making these great bags. She does beautiful seaming, and this one has little sheep on it, but she has others that are more elegant looking. She has some that are a little whimsical. So if you need project bags, have a look at these. Kathy wanted me to talk about the tube socks. These are kind of mysterious. Ann Conzen had a class in these just recently, and so we have the tubes ready to do. Kate Sander has made these tubes. Ta-da! Now what happens is you whack them in two, and you have 2 socks, or anything else you want to do with a tube. You can have long gloves, I suppose. So then you attach your cuff up here, and you put in a heel and a toe later on. So come see them, and maybe you've taken Ann Conzen's class. And I know that she also has some tubes, so do come and look at ours, and we'll help you with these.
So do you have to stake the heel? In other words, cut it and then put the heel in where you want it?
It's an afterthought heel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think Ann does a different kind of heel.
Okay.
And she does an umbrella toe. I don't know if anybody has ever done that. But instead of decreasing on the edges, you decrease evenly all around, and it kind of looked like ribs of an umbrella. And you can do what you want with a cuff. So, Kathy, you got any more questions on this one?
I do not, but I'm interested in trying them out. I really am.
Okay.
I pulled this up earlier off the area where the cash register is. It says French knitter, and I don't know what that is. Can you explain that to our audience?
Simple. You make I-cord.
Oh.
And it's the same as a little child's knitting Nancy.
Yeah.
With a little picture on it. So, but this is a little different in that you make a cord, and you can put it on your iPad type of thing.
Oh, all right.
It's not an iPad.
Well, I remember making those knitting Nancy's
Yeah.
with string and the bobbin off some sewing yarn or sewing thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, thought it was much more complicated than that.
Well, it's a second generation is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when I was a child, I used this as an I-cord maker too, but I didn't know that's what it was. I just made long strings, and I curled them around and made little rugs, except that the rugs were like peaks because I couldn't tape them down.
Mine looked like clothesline. So I never did anything with them. You brought these needles out, and so I wanted to share with our audience a little bit about them and why you think they're great, and have you knitted with them, and give us
Yes.
your opinion.
Well, of course I love them. I'll have you hand me this.
Okay.
This is a new set from Knitter's Pride, and it's called Mindful. And it's called Mindful because each of these needles has a saying engraved on it, like relax, breathe. Let's see what this one is. They're all different, and it's because the pandemic, and it helps you knit easier and reflect on life itself, that we used to know it. So these are metal needles, and they're interchangeable. And you get this beautiful bag with them, with all the accessories in here.
And how many cables do you get with it? And how long are those cables?
Questions.
I'm just trying
You
to...
get a needle
Gauge.
gauge, thank you, and here are the cables you get.
All those cables in one bag? Wow. So you're getting, what are you getting?
And you're getting a 4 through a 19, which is really a great bargain
Yeah,
when you think about it.
wow, wonderful.
The points are quite nice. They call them lace. They're
I'm going to show one of
Little
these
point
because
here.
I had a discussion yesterday with somebody about needle tips.
aha.
And they were using a needle that has too long a needle tip, and they wanted a shorter needle tip. I would say, just eyeballing this is probably what, an inch? Inch and a quarter?
And maybe not. And if I had the tape measure.
From here?
Oh, tape measure's down there. We can measure it. This is the Mindful tape measure, as a matter of fact.
Okay,
Mindful has a whole series of little
sure.
cute accessories. Okay, we're going to measure this. For people who are technically oriented, it's 3/4.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I brought up the size of the tip or the length of the tip is I was explaining to this person who said they had an inch and a half tip, that sometimes it's to their advantage because when you're using the tip, if you tend to purl loosely, but you only purl on the tip before you get to the true barrel, you'll have a tighter purl stitch, which will consequently fit in nicely with your knit stitch.
Kathy, that's great. It's a wonderful suggestion.
Thank you.
I never thought of that.
Yes.
Yeah, you're always knitting.
It's because I'm using a mindful needle.
Yes. When you knit normally, you knit on the barrel because that's where the sizing is.
Yeah.
But how many of us have a loose purl stitch on the back, and we have to make sure that we tightened each stitch?
Absolutely.
This is
Whereas
great.
if you don't get to the barrel and you use the point or the pointier end, you'll have a smaller stitch, purl stitch, ergo it will knit and coincide with your knit stitch.
Yeah.
Which tends to be a little looser because you're more comfortable with that. So,
You want to work here?
I do. But you know, the problem is I'd spend all my money.
Well, that's true. I
You
do.
know? But this is wonderful, and then all your cables are in here.
Mm-hmm.
So they go from what, a 16-inch to what, a 60-inch maybe, or
I'm sure they do. Oh, and you have a choice of swivel cords or straight,
Oh, wonderful.
and so that's another accent on these.
So since this is a new design from
Can you
Knitters,
explain the difference between swivel cord and straight?
A swivel cord, blah, blah. Swivels, the needle swivels on the cord, and so sometimes that's an
So it
advantage.
turns.
Yeah,
don't twist your cord.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the straight ones don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And since this is part of the Knitter's Pride collection of needles and they're new, are there special sales that we should be aware of with these needles?
Not yet,
Okay.
but you can be aware of the needles and can look at them and touch them. And I do have two. I think one has a swivel cord that we'll put yarn on, and people can actually try them. Yeah, this is a swivelly one.
That could be one, if you're knitting a bunch of stitches, like you're making a sweater, and your cable is constantly kinking on you, that is a real advantage, because you've got so many neat
Yeah.
stitches. You must have the one that twists.
I do.
Yeah. So you won't have that twisting of all your yarn and the frustration of trying to straighten that out over a...
If you have 495 stitches making a shawl, for instance.
Yes, exactly right. Anything else you'd like to share with us?
Many things.
Okay.
So come to the shop.
We're here.
We have new types of yarn that I think you haven't seen before. Lanus is one from Barocco that's wool and so soft. I fell in love with it right away. And people who love Sesame, back of you, it's going to be a summer Sesame that comes out with that.
So it's 43% wool, 39% acrylic, some cotton, and some nylon for stretch, I guess. But the colors are jewel tone, and it is lovely. And the weight of this is what? This is
The DK.
DK. It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Yeah, there are plenty of fans of Sesame. We just really can't keep that in, but I think summer Sesame is going to be a lighter look. And
So it's actually called Summer Sesame. Okay. Why do you think we got off track a little bit? I was going to ask the question. Why do you think it's become hard to get your yarn in? Are the trucks being
There's
used for other things?
not so much the trucks, it's at the ports.
Oh,
The container ships are backed up.
they're in the Suez Canal.
Well, just recently, yes. But Malabrigo has even used airplanes, and they haven't used airplanes forever. But they're trying to get the yarn here. Also, Peru was locked down for a month, and I think they locked down for another month later on.
So it has nothing to do with the EU separation from England or any of that?
No,
Okay.
not Brexit, nothing
Okay.
like that.
All right.
It's just, in general, in the world, there's lots of shipment stacked up. And if people if distributors get their yarn from Peru, which is great yarn, wonderful yarn, that's where Rios comes from.
Mhm.
And Barocco has a few that comes from Peru. So we're waiting. And they say, well, it's due in April, but we're not sure. So we wait and we be patient.
Sure.